Welcome back, friends and family. We've got a super fun day ahead of us here. We are going to be broadcasting the live version of San Diego Sports 760 radio today. So everybody come along for a super fun day ahead of us here. Can't wait to bring you guys all along on the radio show with me. If you are looking for a way to submit your questions to the radio, boy, do I have everything ready for you guys. Let me just make sure this is all listed good, and there it is. Let's edit this as well and say here to be featured on the radio today. Submit, start, sit to this link, and it's going to be right there. Oops, my bad. Just kidding, I saved the wrong thing. How's everybody doing? Yo, get your questions in, man. We are about to take you behind the scenes on San Diego Sports 760 radio today. We are going to be making sure that we've got everything ready for you, ready to go, ready to rock. We've got it all. We've got it all. Okay? How is everybody doing right now? Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm just getting the last bit of this updated and posted, and then you are good to go. I just want to make sure everybody has access here. There we go. All right, we should be set. Juan, what's up, man? You guys are coming behind the scenes today for radio show San Diego Sports 760. We are going to be live in less than 25 minutes, so if you guys got any questions that you want to see featured on the radio with me today, this is going to be your opportunity to get your questions in. It's freaking awesome time to be alive. I've got Isaac saying, if Hampton comes back this week, is he playable from now till week 17? I don't think he'll be playable this week, but I think starting next week is when I'm probably going to tell you I feel comfortable playing Amari Hampton. Okay? I would give it one more week, Isaac. I'm not entirely 110% bought in that he is back and he is fully healthy and we've got nothing to worry about. Those things do make me a tiny bit nervous. Just a tiny bit. Just a tad bit nervous, you know, nothing too crazy, but definitely makes me a little nervous on the usage that we're going to see out of Amari and Hampton straight out of the gate here. But what else do we got? I got Cormizla, Flex Tesla, or Gainwell. I think I'll play Tesla, man. Let's take a swing. Let's take the chance on Tesla, you know? I actually really don't hate that at all. I think with no St. Brown here, we're absolutely going to have some opportunities to potentially flex some guys that, normally don't get as many looks. We got Sutton or Pierce. Give me probably Sutton here. I just think Sutton's a tiny bit safer. Sorry, guys. I am just doing a couple good housekeeping things so that we are good to go for the show coming up here in just a couple of minutes. So make sure, if you guys are not already plugged in and ready to go for the 1:30 p.m. showtime here, hop over to my YouTube and go ahead and get prepared for the radio show. We've got the radio show going on in 24 minutes. I got the GOAT saying trade Jacoby Myers and Christian Watson for Chase Brown. That's a yes. I would do that gearing up for the playoffs. Tyler, what's up, man? Manungai, BTJ, Gainwell at the flex. Give me Give me a Manungai here, but I don't love it. I don't love it. Juan, what's up, man? He's saying start Knight or Mason if Jones is out. I would pick up Tesla, yes, instead of Ivashas, but man, if Jones is out, then play Mason. In a 2 QB league, Jacob's asking Lamar, Goff, Stafford, Baker. Here's what I would say. I think you're going Stafford as your safe bet, and I think you're going Lamar as your upside swing. But if you want to be the safest you can be and guarantee yourself probably your best production this week, I think you're just going ultra safe and you're playing Stafford and Goff because they both have pretty solid lineup options here. You've got Miami defense or Ravens defense. Oh, man, I hate both options. I think I'm going to slightly prefer Miami here, though. Don't even need Trey Benson for the playoffs, but a couple great games to boost his value would help. Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. Lamar's been so shaky. No, I completely agree, Jacob. I think here's the hard part, man. You're talking about a perennial MVP and a guy that could take it to the house at any given time and just has incredible rushing upside. So I do feel like sometimes the risk is worth the reward. Now, I understand he's been burning you the last few weeks, as he has been with me, but at the same time, that's why I was saying if you need to layer your risk-reward factor here, I think Stafford is your safe play, and I think if you wanted to swing upside and go with Lamar, I wouldn't blame you. But I will stand by that your safest bet overall is just to play Stafford and Goff. H-Town Rob, what's up, man? The General, Mason or Monty in the flex? I think I'm going to go Monty, man. I think I'm going to go Monty, personally. But at the same time, you know, like, if Aaron Jones is for sure ruled out, then I could see you playing Mason. But that offense just in general in Minnesota has looked awful. I'm sure you were able to witness, Rob, what my Seattle Seahawks did to them this week, and it was fantastic. It was fantastic. Guys, we are less than 20 minutes away from San Diego Sports 760 Radio, so make sure you get your questions in. If you've got any, come hop over to my YouTube, and that is going to be the best way to submit your questions here. Jacob, I feel you, man. Taking the gamble never feels good, but I don't hate, swinging upside. It is fantasy after all. It lagged when you talked about Miami Ravens defense. I did say Miami. I don't feel good about it, Marco. Let me be honest. It's not something I'm wanting to bet my life on, but at the same time, I do think you probably got to play matchup dependent here. Yes, Seattle D won me that week. I feel you, Rob. I think the Seattle defense won a lot of people their matchups last week. Seattle was looking outrageously fierce last week. We've got Christian Watson or Cortland Sutton. Who to start? I need help. Personally, here's what I'd say 6-0 Raw. I would say if you are projected to win this week, I think you just hold Cortland Sutton as your safe floor guy. I think if you need to swing upside to try to get the W, Christian Watson is your boom bust play. Okay? Juan says flex spot, Spears, Bam, or Mason. Out of this one, I will go Mason. It's just because I don't love the other options that you're dealing with here. But that's just me personally, brother. Pinnacle says, if Drake London is out, do I start Adonai or Khalil Shakir? I personally would go Khalil Shakir. That's where I would go. I think Adonai Mitchell's going to be pretty boom bust. Sell Jay Jettis this offseason, and for what, Miles is asking? Seems a bit reactionary. Let's see what Minnesota's able to do in the quarterback department. I mean, if by some chance they end up with Kyler Murray, we're kind of back in business, right? So you kind of got to see which direction they're going to take it this offseason. Yusuf, what's up, man? He says, yo, bro, what's up, man? How are you? You got any questions for me? You want to tune in for the radio show, my guy? Definitely hop on and find me over on the tube, guys, over on the YouTube. It's the best place to be, and you can submit your questions to be featured on the radio. I've got Watson or A.J. Brown from KB. I'm going to go A.J. Brown there. We got Sutton or Ibuka. I am going to lean Sutton. I know it sounds crazy. Michael's saying Michael Wilson or Troy Franklin. If Harrison doesn't play, we're absolutely going Michael Wilson, but until I get full word, I think Troy Franklin's probably a little bit of a safer bet. Yusuf was asking, he's starting 4, Saquon, Etienne, Warren, Waddle, Watson. We're going Saquon, we're going Etienne, we're going Warren, and we're going Waddle. That's the way I'm going to play it. Pretty safe floor with the running backs there. Out season, what's up? Over on the T-Witch, he says, need better QB play for Jefferson and Adunze. I have so many Adunze shares in Dynasty. I feel you, man. I feel you. It's definitely been a tough run for some of our main guys here. Has not been ideal by any means necessary. And, I think as time goes on here, it's definitely going to be a little bit worrying if we enter the offseason in Minnesota. It doesn't seem to have a concrete plan on the way they want to take their team forward, or else some of us Justin Jefferson owners are going to be very uncomfortable this offseason, let's just say. Got Lamar Jackson or Daniel Jones. Let me put it this way, KB. If you are projected to win this week and it looks like a comfortable matchup, we're going to play Daniel Jones, as the floor is going to be a lot safer. If you are projected not to win, I think we got to swing upside, and let's throw Lamar out there and pray to the Lord Almighty that he gets back to his old rushing self. Okay? I got Monungai or Pollard from Colin here. I'm going to go Monungai, brother. Jason is asking, thoughts on Terry McLaurin and Garrett Wilson rest of the season? Terry McLaurin, great outlook rest of the season, in my personal opinion. Now, Garrett Wilson, not so much. I don't know what Garrett Wilson's injury situation is like in the immediate. I don't think he's anticipating coming back in the next couple of weeks. If anything, you're going to get him for the final 2 weeks of your fantasy playoffs. And at that point, I'm not exactly sure how much the Jets really have to risk. So I don't know if Garrett Wilson's going to be a solid play. Terry McLaurin, absolutely. Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Andrews Baseball Cards is asking, well, Andrews Baseball Cards, I hope the baseball card sales are doing great, man. Love to see a little family-run baseball business. But I think I'm going to tell you to play Daniel Jones here. Tell you to play Daniel Jones. But I do think Trevor Lawrence quietly putting up a top 12 season and giving you some rushing upside. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Ross Smith, what's up, my man? Coming along behind the scenes for San Diego Sports 760 Radio today. If you guys are watching across platforms here, make sure you hop on over to the tube that is made for you, the Big Red app, same username, Dynasty Price Check, and click on that link so that you can submit your start-sit questions to be featured on the radio today. I am going to be live streaming the whole radio show right here in the home office today. We're doing it remotely. Wanted to take you guys behind the scenes and so you could see what goes into it. How do you comment on YouTube Live? Easy, man. There's a little chat bar on the side. You should have no issue just commenting the same way you do here. Should be a chat bar on the side window for you. And again, if you guys have any questions on how to submit your start sits to be featured on San Diego Sports 760 in 16 minutes time, go ahead and just click the link in the description of the Tube Live, and you will get featured on the show today. I've got Yankees saying start Brenton Strange or Waller as my blank. Tight end, probably. Dropped Pitts for Waller. I think that's a little aggressive. Pitts had a pretty decent performance last week, but regardless, I'm going to be playing Brenton Strange this week. We got Mason or Hunt. I'll probably lean Mason as long as Aaron Jones isn't playing. I got Alex over here saying, do I drop Aaron Jones for Jacoby Myers? Now, if this is an extremely shallow league, I could see you doing this, looking for like a wide receiver play. I will just caution you that if you start dropping running backs right before the playoffs and there's injuries, people are going to go hog wild on your waiver wire. So I personally like holding running backs, but I'm assuming you have a really shallow bench. If you have, a flex-worthy wide receiver that you could flip-flop out, like a Dontavian Wicks or anything like that, I would feel a hell of a lot better about it, even if it's like someone like a Troy Franklin even, but I don't want to be telling you to drop running backs right before the playoffs. Personally, it's just not my strategy. I got Renegade here saying Franklin or Godwin. I think I'm going to lean Chris Godwin. He looked a bit more encouraging this last week, and I do think he's going to have some big play upside here. Now, this is a really tough one, Ryan. He's saying Scary Terry over Tet. This is what I don't feel good about. Like, I want to say, yes, you probably should be leaning Scary Terry. The longevity is exciting. But Tedero McMillan quietly putting up a top 14 season in fantasy football this year. I feel hard-pressed to tell you not to start him. I feel more inclined, Ryan, to just tell you, let's roll them both out this week. What are your other options, and where can we make a flex play sacrifice here? I got Cammy Talks over here saying Fannin, Waller, or Parkinson. I'm probably going to be leaning Fannin here. Sheesh. All right, guys, we've got 14 minutes. 14 minutes. Oh, Tet's on bye? Well, then, yeah, exactly. You don't even have to worry about it then. 14 minutes until San Diego Sports 760 radio kicks off. And if you guys are looking to get your questions featured on the radio, this is the best chance to do so. Going to be an awesome day here. Awesome day just a couple weeks from the playoffs, guys. We are ramping up to the end of the season. I've got Pete in the chat saying J-Mo, Nico, and Jefferson. Give me J-Mo and Nico this week, bro. Let's sit Justin Jefferson. Got to sit our man down, calm him down until they got some sort of path forward in Minnesota. I've got B. Swindle saying Watson or Jefferson. Did we ever see a world where I'd be telling you to play Christian Watson at the beginning of the season? But I am. I got Travis Etienne or Devonta Smith or Jamison Williams at the flex. I would be going personally with Travis Etienne here, and then Jamison Williams would be a close second. But I think we're going to go with Travis Etienne here. Franklin or Quentin Johnston? Guys, the Quentin Johnston experiment ended back in week 4. We're rolling Troy Franklin out at this point pretty comfortably. I got Goff or Lamar from Zach here. Zach, let's look at this two ways, my friend. If you are already projected to win and it looks like a comfortable matchup for you, let's go ahead and play Jared Goff and be safe and take your W and walk home and walk towards the playoffs, all right, my friend? If it is a very close projected game and you need to swing upside to try to get a W, we got to be taking Lamar simply because he's far more boom potential. But I do think Goff is a fine safety net, okay? Starduster says, gotta have a win. I get it, man. We're in that time of the season. It's crunch time. Gotta have a win. Godwin or Myers. I think we got to go Myers here, just based off the last couple weeks of production, okay? I've got Sheesh asking 80 Mitchell or Higgins. Look, if this is T. Higgins, we got to go T with Joe Burrow back. If it's Jaden Higgins, I think I'm also going to lean Jaden Higgins. I prefer his prospect profile, but AD did look decent last week. Okay, B. Swindle, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. We've got John Nestor over here saying start for Adams, JSN, McLaurin, Collins, Abuka. We are going to be going Devontae Adams and Jackson Smith and Jigba without even question. You're going to then take Scary Terry, and you're going to play Nico Collins. You're going to sit Amika and let the rookie start to find his footing again after a hot start. He's been nothing but volatile, and I don't want to be playing around with that too much longer. I've got Logan over here saying Terry McLaurin or Rome Adunze. Guys, we are rolling out Scary Terry from this point forward. He looks like he's finally healthy. He looks like he's got the upside of a wide receiver 7 finish like last season. And Rome has simply been too inconsistent in the Chicago Bears offense for me to trust him each and every week. I've got D-Man39 saying JSN, Bucky for CMC and Sutton. Now, my friend, if this is a redraft league, I am going to be taking the CMC side, and I know that sounds crazy, but I just think his floor is so consistent moving into the playoff push. If this is Dynasty, we're comfortably taking the JSN side, as you guys know me, and I have JSN as my wide receiver 1 in Dynasty Fantasy Football entering this offseason. Now, guys, a friendly reminder, as it is 1:20 p.m., we are 10 minutes away from going live on San Diego Sports 760 radio. Today, we're going to take the show remotely here from my home studio so you guys can come along for the ride. If you want to be featured on the radio show today, hop on over to my tube that is made for you, the big red app with the play button if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Exact same streams going on over there, but you will have chance to submit your start-sit questions and your trade questions to the link to be featured on the show today and get yourself a live shout-out on the radio. Not to mention, it would be so much fun to answer your questions in that capacity. So hop on over to the tube if you haven't. Same username, Dynasty Price Check over there. I've got Mike dropping a follow. Thank you, Mike. I got Golf Carnivore out here asking Stafford or Burrow. I think you're going to play Joe Burrow, my friend. I've got Ralph in here saying first round of the playoffs, Mahomes or Burrow. We're going to play Patty Mahomes here. Juan Anthony saying, should I start Danny Dimes? Herbert has not been solid. And start Pierce or Wilson in the flex. Let me tell you this. If you're going to play Danny Dimes, you're going to double up and you're going to play Dimes and Pierce, and you are going to try to get that stack, my friend. Christian, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. He says, start 3, Tesla, A.J. Brown, J-Mo, and Waddle. We are going to go A.J. Brown, we are going to go Jamison Williams, and we are going to go Jalen Waddle, my friend. That is the direction we are going. I've got Big Papa out here saying someone in my fantasy dropped the Texans defense. Way too funny. Not elite ball knowledge there. We can clown him, and you can pick him up right now. I've got John Geardy in here dropping a follow. Appreciate you, John. He says, Bowers for Ferguson and Judkins. Now, let me tell you this. If this is a redraft league, I will approve and take the running back depth moving into the playoffs. If this is a dynasty league, I think I'm going to hold Brock Bowers, and I'd be curious if there's a tight end premium in this league as well. I've got Santi in here saying Watson or McLaurin. I do think we're going to go scary Terry, slightly safer, but Christian Watson, always an interesting play with the boom-bust side of his game. Guys, friendly reminder, we are 8 minutes away from going live on San Diego Sports 760, so if you have not already hopped over to my YouTube and submitted your start set questions through the link that's in the description to be featured on the radio show in 8 minutes, I am going to be answering questions exclusively from the radio show chat in 8 minutes time and get through all your start sits, trade questions, and everything you got going on in your fantasy football leagues this week. So make sure you hop on over there and show the channel some love. Would greatly appreciate it over on the Red app. I've got Turkey over here saying Devonta Smith or Ibuka. I am going to be going Devonta Smith. I have lost my trust in Ibuka, unfortunately, and thank you for the follow, Turkey. I've got Ryan Geppy over here asking, is RJ Harvey a start over any of the other rookie running backs? No, he is not a start over Judkins. He is not a start over Genty, and I doubt he's even a start over Henderson at this point. That Patriots offense looks enticing. Now, if you are debating playing him or Woody Marks, I will gladly tell you to play Harvey. Okay, my friend? We've got Jeremy out here saying Jacoby Myers or Cortland Sutton. I will say I'm probably leaning the Jacoby Myers this week. He's been getting some very solid involvement in the recent weeks over in Jacksonville. They seem to be utilizing him effectively after the trade, and I feel good about it. Caden, thank you so much for the follow, and Igor, you as well. Igor, you're going to get pinned up right here, my friend. He says, Burrow or Jones. I'm going to tell you to play Joe Burrow this week, man. Joe Burrow. I got G's up asking a defense question, my friend. He says, who should I start? The Redskins or the Eagles? Well, that team don't exist no more, my friend, but it might change soon. Let's go with the Philadelphia Eagles, man. T-Bog Donuts. Thank you for the follow, man. London is officially playing. Have we confirmed that, Nick? Have we confirmed if London is playing? Guys, we've got less than 6 minutes until San Diego Sports 760 kicks off from the home studio today. If you haven't already, hop over to my YouTube and tune in for the radio show. Get your start set questions in there, and I will be answering all of them live on the radio in less than 5 minutes' time. Outseason is over on T-Witch asking, when is the Dynasty community going to rank McBride over Bowers? I would assume that happens this offseason. I personally already have McBride higher, but I could understand trying to hold on to the Bowers run from last year. I've got Gavin Sumner in here dropping a follow and asking a question and saying, I have Monty, Etienne, and Bucky. Who do I bench of the three? Out of the three, you're going to bench Monty, my friend. All right, I've got someone out here really curious if they're going to play David Montgomery or Ashton Genty, and you're going to play Ashton Genty, brother, Ashton Genty. Alex Perea, thank you so much for the follow, bro. You guys are awesome. Teabag Donuts says Goff or Mahomes. I'm going to tell you to play Mahomes, man. I'm going to tell you to play Mahomes. Diego is in here asking if he should drop Gadsden for Strange. I would say yes. I do believe in Strange for the rest of the season in a bit more production capacity than I see out of Gadsden. I do think Gadsden's going to be very game script dependent. And especially with Hampton coming back, it looks like Jim Harbaugh is probably going to dive right back into running a lot of the football out here. Okay, guys? I've got C-Nut saying Lamar or Danny. It's going to be Danny if you are projected to win already. Lamar if you need to swing upside and potentially take a massive swing for a W. Alex says, my guy, should I drop Goddard for a defense? I have Kittle and Strange already. Yes, I feel comfortable doing this. If you need defensive options, I'm not tripping over holding a third tight end on a team where you already have two plenty serviceable ones. Guys, friendly reminder, we are 4 minutes away from launching the live radio show on San Diego Sports 760. We are going to be doing the show from our home studio today, as you guys see right here with me. So if you want your chance to get featured on the radio, and starting in 3 minutes' time, I am going to be taking the start-sit questions from the radio hotline and not from this chat window. Hop on over to Dynasty Price Check on YouTube and make sure you click the link in the description to submit your questions to the radio hotline. We are going to be live in less than 3 minutes, guys. Less than 3 minutes. You are coming behind the scenes with your boy today for San Diego Sports 760 Radio, and we are going to be doing a nice fantasy segment here any moment. We've got Eric in the chat, one of the long-time listeners. My man, he says, Mechie, Corum, Shakir, Gadsden, Trey Tucker, Loveland. Man, this is a crazy swing. I'm going to go Shakir. I'm going to go with Trey Tucker. And I'm probably going to lean with Loveland. Loveland or Corum. I don't like either, my friend. Let's go with Loveland there, okay? I've got Ryan Geppy out here saying, thoughts on Hampton this week and moving forward. Well, this week, you couldn't pay me to play Amari and Hampton this week. I do genuinely believe it is going to be a touch split of some sort. They are going to work him back nice and slowly here. No reason to risk him when the Chargers potentially have a playoff berth on the horizon. So I would not be looking at starting Amari and Hampton this week. That all being said, guys, I do believe that Amari Hampton is going to be good to go in the next couple weeks. So if we can just be slightly patient for a moment, you will get your chance to play Amari Hampton. Just not this week, okay? Just not this week. All right, guys. We are 2 minutes away from going live on San Diego Sports 760 Radio. If you have not already hopped over to the YouTube to make sure you're ready to submit your questions live on the air, we are going to be taking questions from the link on my YouTube live right now to be answering live on the radio. We are going to only answer questions on there as soon as the show starts in about 1 minute's time. So be prepared. Hop on over there. I'm going to try to rip a couple more of these until we are live on the radio. But obviously wanted to bring you guys on a behind-the-scenes look on how to get involved. We've got Shane over here asking, choose one to sit, Sutton, Higgins, or Myers. If I had to sit one, assuming this is Jaden Higgins, I would sit him. But if it's T. Higgins, I would sit Sutton personally. Randy is out here saying, start Keenan Allen or Jaden Higgins. I would be starting Jaden Higgins, my friend. Be starting Jaden Higgins out here this week. He's starting to look a bit more productive. I've got Alex Pereira out here saying, I have the Chiefs defense and Buccaneers defense stashing for the playoffs. Should I get New Orleans D versus Tennessee? Well, I mean, you've already stacked quite the amount of defenses here. I don't know if I'm holding 3 defenses at a time. If you feel so inclined, sure, you could start the Saints against Tennessee this week. But to be completely frank, you could see actually a decent performance from the Saints here. From the Tennessee Titans here. So you never really know. Nate Gray is asking, Hampton isn't playing? No, Hampton is playing, at least from what they've said, that Hampton is going to come up and suit up and come out. The issue is I do not believe in the long-term usage for Hampton, like not long-term, in the short-term usage for Hampton. I believe it in the long-term, right? So I think this week you probably are going to see Amari Hampton on a snap count of some degree, and I just don't want to be out here saying, yes, he's a good to go. They're going to give him the workload he got before. I don't see that happening. I don't see him getting the workload from before. I got Ash Love Sports saying Chris Rodriguez over Hampton, then I still don't have any other options. Benson is on IR. Yeah, probably. Unfortunately, I don't love this because I think it could age poorly, but, I think that's where we got to be. Guys, and as you can hear here, the call is coming in for San Diego Sports 760 Radio, and we are going to go live right now. Make sure you're tuned in. Sammy, what's up, my man?
It's Ben here. Sammy's up in L.A., so I'm kind of trying to do everything. How are you, Stan?
What's good, Ben? There you go, man. Sorry, I'm used to the Sammy call. There we go.
No, you're all good. That's usually the case.
No worries, man. I'm sure you're killing it.
Cool. Here, let me throw you on a quick hold. We're going to be going live here in a couple minutes. I'll bring you on.
Yeah, no sweat, brother.
All right, thank you.
All right, guys. Here we go, live on San Diego Sports 760 today. We've got iHeartRadio ads coming through. You guys can hear. I am taking you live behind the scenes today. We are doing it with you guys on stream. You can hear everything. You get to know what it's like to sit through the radio ads and listen to plenty of great offers from iHeartRadio. Okay.
We're sponsored by Mission Fed Credit Union. San Diego State basketball back on the Mesa tonight. That game will be at 7 o'clock here, right here on San Diego Sports.
Here we go, guys. San Diego Sports 760. Make sure you get your questions into the text line here, and you are going to be able to follow along the whole show here.
144.5. Big news on the NFL. Justin Herbert, who sustained a hand injury last week during the Raider game, he did come back and finish the game. He is not practicing ahead of their Monday Night Football showdown against the Philadelphia Eagles live from LA.
We're going to be going with Goff over Lamar, assuming you are projected to win. If you are not Cole, then swing upside on Lamar Jackson, okay, guys? Look at me juggling both. We got the radio show, and I'm answering your questions. But here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
San Diego Sports 760, like Sammy just told you, I will be back with you at 6 o'clock tonight, getting you ready for San Diego State and Utah Valley, a big one for the Aztecs tonight at Viejas Arena. Tickets still available at GoAztecs.com.
Vincent, we're doing we're starting Tesla if Amon-Ra doesn't play. Thank you for the follow, my friend. You should.
Our fantasy football expert, his name is Stan Lazinski. He owns DynastyPriceCheck.com, also operates it, one of the fastest rising stars in the world of fantasy football. Stan, how are you?
I'm doing great, my guys. How's everybody doing today?
We're good, man. Playoff time right around the corner for fantasy football. This is the time where we separate the men from the boys, the cream from the crop. And Stan, we're going to start with this one from our buddy Mac Daddy on YouTube. He asked us this question earlier. Sammy and I answered it. We may have been a little bit ruthless, but I want to get your view on it. Mac Daddy says, how do you guys feel about purposefully losing this week so your buddy can make it to the playoffs? Is that unsportsmanlike and bad karma or even collusion, Stan?
Whew! I'm not gonna lie, that feels like some collusion to me. I think I'd be pretty upset with that one. Now I understand being a good friend, and props to you for really putting in the effort there, but that smells like collusion.
All right. I agree, and I say try to knock your friend out because that's funnier.
Yeah.
Dice the Dice 03 says, got two fantasy football questions for you. We'll start with just one, Stan. Do I go with ETN or Chris Rod Jr. this week?
I think I'm going to lean Etienne. Now, it's definitely a tougher matchup against this Indianapolis Colts, but I do believe since the Jaguars are fighting so tight for a playoff spot here that they are going to be locked in. The Colts are banged up a little bit in the injury department. Could be a sneaky play for Travis this week, so I'm going to lean that direction.
Ty's also asking, should he pick up Jake Ferguson on waivers for Hunter Henry? He said he already has Brock Bowers, so not sure it totally matters.
Whew, I guess it doesn't matter too much. This is a spoil of riches, my friend, but I don't think Jake Ferguson should be on your waiver wire, so it feels weird rostering three tight ends like that, but I'm going to tell you to do it.
I like it a lot. All right, our buddy SD Tyler texting in, and we got Stan Lazinski on the line, our fantasy football expert, DynastyPriceCheck.com. Tyler says, do I start Mooney or Pitts in place of London, or do I drop Mooney for Brenton Strange or Jordan Addison?
Whew. Well, here's the thing. We know Kirk Cousins loves some Darnell Mooney action. So if Drake London does not suit up, you are absolutely playing Darnell Mooney. Now, if it does look like Drake London is going to suit up and you're feeling a little bit unsure about the risk of it, I have absolutely no issue throwing Brenton Strange in. That Jacksonville offense has been humming, and he has been seeing some pretty consistent target production from Trevor Lawrence.
Not Jan and B says, should I trade Jay Jettas for Jamison Williams in a redraft league?
Oof, this is a brutal one because I do believe that next week that Jamison Williams is, or actually tomorrow, we're starting the next match week tomorrow. I do think that Jamison Williams is going to comfortably outscore Justin Jefferson this week. So if this is a 1 week trade, then I can give you my buy-in, but the rest of the season, I still feel hesitant to say yes. Let's go ahead and hold Justin Jefferson and pray that the playoffs look better on him.
All right, Stan Lazinski, our Dynasty, our fantasy football expert, dynastypricecheck.com, with us. Our buddy Rich going on YouTube saying DeAndre Swift went off last week, but now he's at Green Bay this week. Should he sit over the likes of Travis Etienne or Vidal for the Chargers playing at home?
You know, I would sit him for Etienne personally. I do think that he will see a higher level of workload, like I alluded to, because of the Jaguars' very close playoff push here. But the tough part with Swift and Monangai is it looks like Ben Johnson is going to carry on with his predetermined motion of the David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, two-headed monster backfield. And so I could see DeAndre Swift and Monangai both giving you comfortable flex or RB2 production even throughout the playoffs. But let's roll out Travis this week.
Mac Daddy's asking, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen playing each other this week. What quarterback you rolling with?
Whew. I mean, it's going to be a great and entertaining matchup between the slingers. I would still lean Josh Allen simply for the rushing upside here.
How about Kincaid or Strange this week?
Whew. Now, if Kincaid is fully healthy and good to go, I think I'm going to lean Kincaid, as he has looked like Josh Allen's primary pass-catching option in the building with no true alpha at the receiver position.
T. Higgins or Monty? Where are you leaning there?
I'm going to go T. Higgins on that one. T. Higgins on that one. Assuming he gets cleared out of this concussion issues and is good to go, we're gonna suit up T. Higgins here.
All right, and Stan, you're talking about, because fantasy football playoffs literally start next week. I think this is the last week teams are on bye. Some leagues are starting them this week, which I feel is asinine and unright, because you might have Christian McCaffrey on a playoff team get bounced in the first week. But for players who are heading into their playoffs, and maybe they have a little bit of a bye this week because they already secured their spot, once you get into the postseason, what's the thought process for you? Are you going to trust the people that you got to the postseason with, or are you going to be able to go matchup dependent and maybe sit somebody who's been solid for you all year long?
Yeah, now I think matchup definitely needs to come into play at this point in the season. And I think the other thing that needs to come into play more than matchup is the team positioning. And when I talk about team positioning, I talk about understanding the stakes of the real life NFL and what is happening. When we're talking about Travis Etienne here, like you've been asking me in a few of these questions, you're looking at a Jacksonville Jaguars team that is absolutely in the running to make the playoffs and lock the Texans out here. They control their own destiny. So teams that are fighting actively for playoff contention in real life can definitely translate over to your fantasy production, because they are going to have a hell of a lot more to play with than the teams that are already knocked. I think a perfect example of that is your Kansas City Chiefs players on fantasy right now. I mean, if you're talking about guys like Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy, all these, this is absolutely the time where the Chiefs could miss the playoffs for the first time in a decade. And if you don't think that they are gassing up and suiting up and trying to put everything they have forward, moving here, I think you got to take that into conversation when you're making your fantasy football decisions.
Medina's asking, do you trust Lamar Jackson coming off the injury? Hasn't looked great the last few weeks, or Jordan Love after his performance last Thursday night?
Whew, this is a brutal one. Here's what I'm going to say, and I hate to sit on the fence too much, but I've been saying the same thing in some of my live streams this week. If you are projected to win this week and it looks like a comfortable matchup for you, and you've got a Jordan Love, a Jared Goff, a Matthew Stafford to play over Lamar Jackson, then I'm going to go ahead and do it, right? Because Lamar has been quite volatile, and since he's dealing with the injury, I do actually think that, that is impacting his rushing upside. Now, that all being said, the perennial MVP, the guy that could win you any matchup, any given week, regardless of how cold he has been in the recent ones, if you are not projected to win and you need to take a Hail Mary shot, let's suit up Lamar Jackson and pray that he finds those running legs this week.
Mesa Medina also asking if Amon-Ra somehow plays tomorrow, do you play him or sit him?
No, we're sitting Amon-Ra. I think if anything, he's going to be a decoy tomorrow. I don't know why you'd risk him with the Lions potentially, gearing up for a playoff appearance and berth as well. So personally, I think you roll Jameson Williams, and as a really deep flex play, some of my waiver wire ads this week, Isaac Tesla might be one of those guys that you consider rolling out.
Stan, you ever mess with any daily fantasy stuff, would you be going heavy on Jameson Williams this week?
I would be. I personally think, especially if Amon-Ra's sitting here and they absolutely rule him out, Jameson Williams could be the boom of the week. This guy, as you've seen, can somehow score you 27 fantasy points on 3 targets sometimes. What if he sees 11? Let's just put that seed out there and let it grow.
Stan, I'm curious. We've had a lot of talk this week about collusion in fantasy football leagues. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but
Sure.
You're in a lot of fantasy football leagues. What is the most egregious trade or collusion job you have seen in your tenured fantasy football career?
Whew, this is a tough one. I think the biggest stage of collusion that I've witnessed, especially since I play in Dynasty leagues, which, as we discussed, is, multi-season. You draft your team once and you hold it forever. I've watched teams lend players to each other. That's a quick way to get yourself barred from the league. Basically saying, hey, I'll do this trade, and then the trade will go through, while the player's on bye. And then next week, the trade goes right back through again. And as soon as I see that and see that was just a 1-week rental, you're kicked, friends. That's too much collusion for me. But I see it happen more often than you might think. People think they're clever.
Yeah, it's great. Stan's job, by the way, at dynastypricecheck.com, you can sign up to have Stan manage your team to make sure you're not getting taken advantage of in trades, to make sure that he is taking advantage of your fellow league mates in trades. Stan Lazinski will run your league for you if you want him to. And Stan, you offer that up at dynastypricecheck.com, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you guys are over this fantasy thing and you're saying, hey, next season, I need an expert in there to take over my team, win me the league, clown on all my friends, you know where to find it.
Stan Lazinski, dynastypricecheck.com. What time are you going live today, Stan?
Ben, we are actually live right now, live streaming the behind the scenes of San Diego Sports 760 Radio. We've got over 60 viewers over on TikTok. We got another 20 on Twitch, and we've got another 50 over on the Tube. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and go on and check out the Fletch Zone here for all of your sports needs, as they're going to keep you up to date with everything good going on in California.
Come join us. Screw Stan. You don't need him. You want to be over here. That's where we want to be. I'm kidding. Stan Lazinski's the best. DPC After Dark as well. So go check him out. Stan Lazinski, Dynasty Price Check. Thank you, Stan.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll talk soon.
All right, dude's a rocket ship. We're just happy we caught on to the tail. On the way up, baby. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Coming up next, we will close this thing out, let you know about a surprise giveaway that's going to be hitting the airwaves tomorrow. And Sammy's going to sign off from up there in KFI Studios, our bitter rival. Are we rivals with KFI? Yeah, I want you to go, throw some laxatives in Petros Papadakis' coffee.
All right, y'all. We did it. We did the San Diego Sports 760 Radio behind the scenes today. Glad you guys could all come along for the ride.
No beef with KFI. It's 570.
It's awesome. Super dope. Thank you, Angels Film. Glad you guys could see what it's like to do the radio remotely today. We decided not to go into the studio so that we could bring the live coverage to you guys. So this is awesome. That was way too much fun. Way too much fun. All right, guys, here we go. And we're back to the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming along. Angels Film, thanks for the support, guys. Appreciate you coming along, as you can see what it's like to go behind the scenes for San Diego Sports 760 Radio Remote, doing our fantasy segment every single Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to run this stream for about 15 more minutes to answer some of your guys' questions here, and then we are going to be signing off. All right, guys. Sorry, back to the chat. We've got Ricky Roma out here saying Hampton playing. Look, Hampton is playing, but guys, I want to temper your expectations out here. Let's not go out thinking that Amarian Hampton is going to continue playing with the same level of workload in production that we saw out of him before the injury. I do think this is going to be a slow ramp up, personally. So I do think to be completely frank with you, that I would be sitting Amari Hampton this week. I would not be going too crazy. I've got Bobby over here saying Woody, Hunt, Pacheco, Charbonnet, pick 2. Give me, I don't think Woody's going to play this week, but obviously we'll have to keep up to date on that one. I'm going to play Charbonnet, and I'm probably going to lean Kareem Hunt, but man, it feels dirty. E. Medina, what's up over on the tube? Made for you. He says, start Javonte Williams versus Detroit tomorrow. That is an absolute yes. I don't know who else you would be pretending to throw in your lineup here, but you've got a top 10 running back on the season. Let's use the production there. I've got La Monarca Photography. Thank you for the follow and dropping in. Says, should I drop Tootin for Tesla? Let me put it this way. If you're a Travis Etienne owner, no, I want to hold my handcuff going into the playoffs because I can't tell you how important it is to have that insulation so that you can sleep comfortably at night during this playoff run. But if Tootin is simply a guy you've been holding, hoping for upside, and you do need a spot start for this week, I don't mind picking up Tesla, knowing, though, that you are only getting 1 week of production out of Tesla. So if you need to start him at receiver this week, fine. But I don't feel great dropping a running back that could have relevancy in the playoffs simply for a 1 week rental if you can avoid it, La Monarca. Okay, Jason, thank you for the follow. Ricky Roma, thank you for the follow. I got Bobby in here. Bobby, we talked about your question, and man, it's dirty. I feel like I need a shower already after looking at it. I've got Muhammad in here. What's up, my friend? He says, Manungai, Aaron Jones, Adunze, Godwin at my flex this week. This one, for me, personally, is going to be Godwin or Manungai. I'm probably going to lean Manungai, but I could see you rolling out Chris Godwin here as well. But I think I'm going to lean Manungai. Victor, thank you for the follow, or Vic Store. Vic Store is saying Mark Andrews, Theo Johnson, Darren Waller. I'm going to go Theo Johnson, actually. Theo Johnson, okay? Not only does Jackson Dart love my man out here, he is feeding him comfortably, okay? Who am I is asking a question over here. Who are you? I don't know. Who are you? Is Dowdle still considered good for fantasy? Well, look, let's look at it this way, okay? The issue with Rico Dowdle is that Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard have effectively gone back to a perfect 50-50 touch split. And so whenever that happens, I always say, if you don't own both of them so that you have the ability to just start both and pray that both of them enter the end zone and get touchdowns, then you are basically playing a coin flip game each week. You're saying who's going to get the touchdowns, who's going to get the majority of the usage. You are just playing with your life. I never feel good about that. So if I'm a Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard owner, I potentially like to just package them both together and ship them away for one player I find more consistently. Like, could I take Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle, package them together, and try to go get Chase Brown? Somebody who I like more, that has more upside, and has a fantastic playoff schedule. That's the type of deals I like to do. I got Tanner with his first words over on the tube that is made for you. He says, Bo or Brissett, Alec Pierce or Troy Franklin. Need to secure the 1 seed. I totally get it, Tanner. Personally, man, I have not seen anything wildly encouraging out of this Denver offense in the recent weeks. If it was me, I would be genuinely considering rolling out Jacoby Brissett in a matchup against the Rams. Now, let's keep in mind, the Rams have some of the best defense in the league. So do I expect Jacoby to be as productive as he has been in recent weeks? No. And let's also not forget that the Rams turned the Seattle Seahawks over 4 times and made a pretty tough outing for them in that department. For that reason alone, and because you have Troy Franklin, I think you're going to stack and go with Bo and Troy Franklin and pray that Franklin's fine in the end zone this weekend. But that's just my 2 cents, knowing the matchup against this Los Angeles Rams that after dropping to the Panthers last week are going to come back with a fury as they now have to fight for the division with Seattle right on their tail. I've got Medina saying Jaden Higgins or Adonai Mitchell. That's going to be Jaden Higgins comfortably for me. Who am I? And Lenny the Balla, thank you so much for the follows here on TikTok. Lenny is saying, do you start Harvey or Judkins? It's going to be Judkins for me here. I've got Kenneth Walker or Jaden Higgins at the flex. Being asked by GTO, I am going to go with Kenneth Walker here Going to go with Kenneth Walker. I've got Yankee in the chat asking, are we starting Khalil Shakir over Michael Wilson? Yes, you are, unless Marvin Harrison Jr. gets ruled out. And if Marvin Harrison Jr. gets ruled out, then we are going to lean Michael Wilson. Who am I? Says, what if you only have Dowdle? Well, then Dowdle should be looked as a flex running back with potential RB2 upside. Again, the coin flip is what worries me, right? The coin flip is what worries me. Joey Z Caps, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Dev, you as well. Dev is asking, JJ or Myers? Honestly, this sounds insane, but I am going to tell you to sit down Justin Jefferson and play Jacoby Myers this week. I've got Cody asking for a Dynasty trade. You'll love to see my Dynasty heads in the chat. He says, rebuild, traded away Kyron, Higgins, 2 26 thirds, 27 third, 4 dart, 26 first, and 26 first and second. This is so much. What is happening here? So you traded away Kyron and Higgins, basically, for dart, a first, and a second. If this is a super flex league, Cody, this is a masterclass, my friend. I think you just bought Jackson Dart on one of the cheapest prices you're going to get him for the foreseeable future. Angels Film Room over here on the T-Witch says, can I start Terry over Olave and Waddle? I think you can definitely start him over Olave this week, but I guess Tennessee Titans matchup is pretty friendly. Personally, I think Terry needs to be in your lineup. I don't want to start him over those two guys. Who do you have in the flex, Angel? Can you not throw him in the flex spot? You got to have an option there, huh? Luca, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Bobby, we got Bobby out here saying BTJ, Addison, Fannin, or Schultz. Give me Fannin here, and then Schultz is the close second. I'm hoping there's some sort of tight end premium. Woody Marks or Troy Franklin from Josh. Give me Troy Franklin. London at the flex. Look, man, I don't know if London's going to play. I think I'd just roll out those three guys. Not to mention, you got Kirk Cousins here trying to go up against, isn't it a Seattle defense this week? I think it is. I'm pretty sure it's Seattle. It's my team. Let's double check. Yeah, where is it? Atlanta. Why am I not seeing the Atlanta matchup this week, guys? It's Atlanta-Seattle, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Yeah, it's Seattle. I'm not doing it. Give me the three you listed. Hey, Swaggy, Nick Young's in the chat. What's up, my man? He says, which side are you taking, McLaurin and Ladd or Chase Brown and Waddle? Ooh, that's an interesting one. Got McLaurin and Ladd or Chase Brown and Waddle. Let me tell you, from a dynasty perspective, I think you lean the Ladd side here, just in a vacuum. But I think for immediate production, and if you're anywhere near contending in the next year, I think you got to hold Chase Brown and Waddle. Ladd would be a true rebuilding move, and then I know you're getting McLaurin there, which is kind of weird. So you'd probably look to ship McLaurin to a contender, probably me, honestly, Swaggy, but. No, I think I'm probably just going to hold the Waddle and Chase Brown side here. Two of those guys, I mean, Waddle should get a nice value boost in the offseason. I expect him to, at least. Nathan Doodle, thank you so much for the follow, man. I'll pin you up here. He says, A.J. Brown or Judkins. I'm going to lean Quinshawn, assuming it is a half-point PPR. If it's a full-point PPR, I'm still going to go Judkins just barely because I think it's a safer floor. But if you really need to swing upside and go shoot for the moon, then I'll give you the A.J. Brown side of this. Mac and Cheese, too. Thank you for the follow, my friend. We've got MJ. We've got Lifelights tuning in on the tube that's made for you. First-time listener. Hopefully we can earn your subscription. How are you? He says, they're saying Kyron will not be used as much to save him for the playoffs. I'm trying to see who I should start, Kyron or Judkins this week. Must win to make the playoffs. I totally understand where you're at. Blake Corum is getting more involved in this offense, and he actually looked quite good last week. I think if you do have Quinshawn Judkins on your team, which it sounds like you do, and you have the luxury here, maybe you just roll out Judkins and feel a bit safer about it. That all being considered, I do expect the Rams to bounce back pretty heavily here this week after dropping a game to Carolina and trying to step up in a divisional matchup against Arizona. So I could see Kyren having extreme usage in the red zone, as I do expect the Rams to find their way there early and often. So that being said, I just want you to know the risk of benching Kyren Williams is losing the touchdown upside. However, I don't see a large workload for him on the ground like you were mentioning. Like, I don't think this is going to be a 80-yard Kyren Williams rushing game. Like, I would say pretty comfortably it would be a bit lower than that. So, all right, guys, let's hop back over to the TikTok chat. If you guys are watching over on TikTok, maybe check me out over on the Twitch or on the tube that's made for you. You've got options all over the place, and your chat experience might be a tiny bit better over on the other platforms. Of course, Lifelights, thank you for finding us. Appreciate it. I've got Mac and Cheese saying pick 2, Scary Terry, Jameson, and Michael Wilson. I think you're just going to go Terry and Jameson Williams, okay? I think Terry and Jameson Williams is not a bad position to be in at all. I've got Luca in the chat saying must win, Waller or Ertz. I think I'm going to go Zach Ertz. After a 33-point performance last week from Zach Ertz, it's hard for me to tell you to bench him. He's been consistent in this offense, and I don't mind it. I got Diablo out here saying Jags or Panthers, week 15 stream. I am going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars here, even though I don't feel fantastic about it. I see Luca saying Waller is versus the Jets. I do understand that, but not everything is all about matchup, guys. Sometimes you got to play more than just the matchup game. Who am I back in the chat says, should I go with Javonte or Judkins for Dowdle? I would go personally with Javonte Williams here. I would go with Javonte Williams. MJ says, Rome, Debo, Tesla, Mooney, pick 2, must win. Well, let me put it this way, friend. If Drake London is going to sit, then Darnell Mooney is a must start. If Drake London is going to play, then I'm going to tell you to play Tesla and Debo. Okay? If not, you're going to be playing Mooney and Debo. All right. I've got GTO Miles out here saying Juwan Johnson or Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid. Give me Dalton Kincaid here, okay? Ooh, Morris has got a tough one asking Rice or Adams. This is pulling at my heartstrings because you know your boy loves Devontae Adams. And Devontae Adams is comfortably giving you a wide receiver 6 season, finding the end zone more than any other player in the entire league right now from the wide receiver position. That all being considered, I do think you got to understand that Rashee Rice, since his return, is actually averaging the most fantasy points per game on a per-game basis of anybody in the league.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Sorry, guys. All right. We've got Scary Terry or Kenneth Walker from Mac and Cheese 2. That's a tough one. Personally, I think I would be leaning Scary Terry if it's a full point PPR. And if it's a half point PPR, let's go Kenneth Walker for the rushing upside. Okay? Tom is saying Goff or Mahomes. Give me Mahomes, even though I'm not going to lie, guys. We've got a fantastic matchup for the Lions this week. It is almost inevitable to play anybody against this Dallas Cowboys defense, so I am going to slightly lean Mahomes, and here's the only reasoning on that, okay, because I do think it's worth the discussion. The reasoning to play Patrick Mahomes from this point on in the season is that the Chiefs are on the cusp of missing the playoffs for the first time in almost a decade. If you don't think that if you don't think that Patrick Mahomes is going to be locked in to try to avoid that level of embarrassment and make sure that the Chiefs can secure a playoff berth after all, I think you do have to be considering the ego side of football included here. I got La Monarca Photography. Am I even saying this right? Monarca? I don't know. Pick 3, Jaden Higgins, Adonai Mitchell, Rodriguez, or Quorum with starters Chase and Taylor and Pierce. Okay, we're going to go Jaden Higgins. I think here's the way I'm going to say it. I think we're going to go Jaden Higgins, and I think we're going to go Blake Corum here, okay? Jaden Higgins and Blake Corum, okay? That's the way I'm going, all right? Jeremy, what is good, Jeremy? Jeremy is saying, would you start Godwin over Waddle or Javonte? I would personally be not starting Godwin over either of those two players. I just think you have far better production coming to you from the other side of the house. I've got Hank saying start 2, Brown, Ladd, Judkins. Let's go with Chase Brown. Let's go with Judkins here, okay? Give me the consistent floor of the 2 running backs. I think I'm good there. I've got Chris from DeBay. What's up, man? What area of DeBay you from? All my roommates are from DeBay. I love DeBay, kind of. But I'm also from Seattle, so not a big Niners guy. But you know what? Bay is fun time. Pick one, Watson or Jacoby. I'll put it this way. I think Jacoby Myers is a far safer play. So if you're already projected to win, let's take the production we're going to get from Jacoby Myers. I do think Christian Watson always has the boom potential to, give you a 25-point week. So if you're somehow playing from behind here and you're a bit nervous, then let's go ahead and roll out Christian Watson. All right. I've got I got BG Boats here from Price Check. What's up, my man? Are you concerned about your subpar score last week? Now an underdog. That is totally fair. No, I am not too worried about it. What I am worried about the most, Boats, is this Justin Jefferson situation, my friend. The Justin Jefferson thing is not looking good on me. Definitely not feeling so hot, and also losing St. Brown this week. Definitely a little bit of an underdog here, trying to secure the 1 seed for the playoffs. But you know what? I think the team will come back with a fury. I'm going to give them a nice locker room pep talk once everybody's healthy, and let's keep on rolling. I've got my gorgeous girlfriend, Rach, in the chat for a moment saying, you're doing great, babe. That is lovely to see. I got a face for the radio, and she said, my hair looks good today. Thank you. I appreciate it, Sometimes you got to do what you can to impress your girlfriends, okay? You got to do what you can. She goes, I'll mute you. Oh, okay. I see how it goes. Hey, Hank, stop spamming, dude. There you go. Thank you, Rach. Rach is just policing the crowd here. We got Hank asking, am I starting A.J. Brown, Ladd, or Judkins? I said for these two, we're going to go A.J. Brown and Judkins. Trevor is in here saying Hunt, Mechie, or Adunze at the flex. I'm going to be going Adunze here just to swing upside. I know it's been burning you recently. It's not great, but that's where we're at. I got Damon Owens saying Mariota or Sanders. Probably going to be going Mariota here. Going to go Mariota, right? Okay, we've got... What else do I got? I've got King Gregory asking, pick one, Shakir, Swift, Charbonnet. Going to be going with, I'm going to go with DeAndre Swift here. I know he's kind of splitting the backfield a little bit with Monungai these days, but, I think there's enough to go around here. Hey, Hank, you got to cut out this sass with my girl out here, okay? You're going to incur the wrath out here. I'll get to everybody's questions. I do the best I can. I'm just trying to juggle it all. We got 62 over here on TikTok. We got folks over on the Tube, folks over on the T-Witch. If you guys are watching on TikTok and you haven't already hopped over to the red app or the purple app, your chat experience is going to be far better over there. Okay, let's see. I've got Angel asking, you think London is playing this week? I think it's fringe. I'm not exactly sure which direction I'm leaning here, and so that's kind of why I'm worried about it. Okay, what else do I got here? Let's keep it going. Nick Valencia, thank you so much for the follow, man. We got Jeffrey in here asking Caleb Williams or Joe Burrow. It is going to be Joe Burrow. And I know Caleb Williams has been playing pretty decent recently here, But at the same time, personally, guys, if you watch the film, I'm just not a Caleb Williams guy still. His footwork is a complete and utter mess. He can't seem to get it set. The power on his throws is all messed up, and it all comes from his lower body. He doesn't understand. Sometimes he's airmailing, sometimes he's underthrowing and not leading the receivers correctly. I don't know. Caleb Williams just still does not have my ultimate buy-in. I'm fading a little bit here. I've got David in here saying I need to make the playoffs. Is starting Tyrod a stretch? Well, I mean, to some degree, yes, but like, are you starting him over consistent, proven quarterbacks, or are you just in a position where you have no choice? If you have no choice, then fine. I'll give you the buy-in, as the Jets have a decent matchup this week. We've got Bam Knight or Brian Thomas Jr. Completely honestly, I think I'm going to lean Brian Thomas Jr., even though it feels dirty as I say it. I already feel like I need a shower, but that's kind of where we're at these days. We're at that point of the season. I got Mac in here saying Swift or Jones Sr. I'm going to go with Swift here. I've got Tay Birch in here asking if it's going to be Mitchell or Addison at the flex. Man, I hate saying this because Jordan Addison is so much better of a wide receiver, but I just cannot trust the Minnesota Vikings offense right now. I think I'm going to go Mitchell here. Nick Valencia, my man, I saw your follow. I'm going to pin your comment up. If you guys want to get your comments pinned and make my chat a hell of a lot easier for me to juggle across platforms, please just go ahead and drop a quick follow. It is nice and easy. And then I get your follower tag next to your profile, just like Nick. He says Andrews or Strange for the playoffs. Look, I am going to be playing Mark Andrews in the immediate, and I will give you my reasoning. It's the same reason I was talking about when I was talking about the Kansas City Chiefs recently, but the Ravens are in an IRL, real-life playoff hunt right now, okay? Lamar is going to do what he can to try to push this team to the playoffs. They are fighting in a tough division in the AFC right now, and so I do believe that Andrews is still going to see usage, and they are going to be in some close matchups here and need to rely on their reliable pass catchers, and Lamar Jackson already has a strong-built relationship up with Mark Andrews, so I'm going to tell you to go Andrews, but Strange is definitely not a bad consolation prize to have, okay? I've got David here saying my only other QB is May, who's on bye, but Brissett and Stroud are available on waivers. Oh, well, personally, then I would probably lean and go CJ Stroud here if he's available on waivers. I think Texans-Chiefs should be a good game this week, and you've got a decent AFC matchup there. I think it's going to be pretty competitive. That's the direction I would personally lean, David. SJC over on the tube says, what's up, Mr. DPC? How's your day going? Thank you so much, man. And says, hopes my day is going well. I appreciate it, SJC. My day is going great. We just cranked a radio show over on San Diego Sports 760. Took you guys behind the scenes. It was an awesome experience to have everybody in the chat come along for the ride, so you guys could get a behind-the-scenes look on what it's like to call into our radio show and do our fantasy segment each and every week. We've got Kendall Hollick out here asking, Keenan Dollick saying, do you think Evans will come back week 15? I think Evans is fringe to come back week 15. Now, I do think he'll probably play week 15, and it'll be in a limited capacity. I think week 16 will be the full rollout, so depends on how patient you want to be on that front. Tay, David, Easy Webs, Tucker Price, Chan, thank you guys so much for the follows. Greatly appreciate it, guys. I'm going to go ahead and find these comments and pin them up right now. I got Hunter saying, you think Drake London's playing? I think it's fringe. Manungai or Swift? I'd say just play them both, to be completely frank. Chen is asking about Shakir for DK. I would take the DK side here personally, but obviously in recent weeks it doesn't feel as fun. James says traded Dak and Judkins for Achane. That is a great trade. I love it. I love it. We've got Caleb out here saying Dak or Goff. I'm probably going to go with Goff here. We've got Jay Jettis or Watson. I think you're going to play Christian Watson, and that sounds crazy, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you to do it. Jalen Warren or Javonte Williams. Give me Javonte Williams personally. I think that is the clear and easy pick here. I've got Parker out here asking Hampton, Rodriguez, RJ Harvey, pick one. Out of this group, I'm going to pick RJ Harvey. I do think that Hampton is going to be on a snap count this week, and I don't want to be playing too much of the will they, won't they game. I've got SJC out here asking Darren Waller or Dallas Goedert this week, leaning where personally? I'm guessing that's Waller. I would probably play Darren Waller. Okay? Doesn't feel super, super great, but I am going to tell you to do it. I've got, then out of these four wide receivers, who should I start? Brian Thomas Jr., Troy Franklin, Alec Pierce, or A.D. Mitchell. You are going to be starting out of this group. Ugh, it's gross. Alec Pierce maybe? Oh, man, I hate this lineup, though. Personally, that kind of hurts my soul. All right, Det Prods is saying Baker or Love. Give me Baker Mayfield this weekend. Brandon is asking, would you go Devonta Smith, Shakir, or Franklin? I would go Devonta Smith here. David says, forgot to mention T-Law's available. Would you get him over Stroud? Yeah, I would. I'd do T-Law. I've got Prissy in here asking, Herbert or Hurts? I'm going to go with Jalen Hurts this week. Prissy. We've got Det Prods. I already got you. Lamar or Jones. Again, I'm going to sit on the fence here, Choi, and say if you are projected to win, you're going to play Daniel Jones. If you are fighting for a chance to win and you need to swing upside, let's go Lamar and pray he finds his running legs. SJC says, shoot, my bad. I meant to say which of those four, which three should I start? Okay, Brian Thomas Jr., Troy Franklin, and Pierce then, okay? I've got official AJ out here saying Jay Jettis or Franklin at the flex. In that situation, I'm probably just going to take Justin Jefferson. We've got Chase Brown or JMO at the flex. This is a brutal one, Lyric. If there's ever been a week that I think Jameson Williams is going to go off, I do think it's this week. But then again, you do have a Buffalo Bills defense that's allowed plenty of rushing yards this year. Oh, man. I think, look, I'll put it this way. Chase Brown is your safe option. JMO is your 33-point home run swing option. So take that with what you will based off the projection of your current matchup, okay? Stafford or Lamar, same thing. If you're projected to win, we're playing Stafford. If you need to swing ultimate upside, you're playing Lamar, okay? I've got Christian Garcia, a follower out here, saying Bucky or Javonte. I'm going to go with Javonte Williams, although I do think Bucky is going to get worked more into the offense this week. Guys, if you are watching over here on TikTok, help me manage my chat across platforms here and drop a quick follow. It does help a ton and it makes my chat a hell of a lot more easy to read. And I will go ahead and pin some of these comments up. I've got Brandon Foster following the instructions, understanding the assignment. He's got Burrow or Stafford. Like I was saying, man, I would potentially go Joe Burrow here. Just after 1 week back, Joe's already looking nice with it, and I am ready to rock and roll. Jeff, dad of 3, thank you for the follow. Congrats to you, my man. Awesome family you got going on over there. And we got to protect more of our dads out here. You're doing the Lord's work, my friend. Mariota or Mahomes? Interesting question. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes, and it's purely for the reason that I mentioned earlier. The Chiefs are in an IRL, in real life playoff fight. And at this point, I think Mahomes is going to be coming out and doing the best he can to avoid the embarrassment of missing the playoffs this season. And so for that reason alone, then I'm going to be going Patty Mahomes. Okay. Let's see. Birds in Sports says Myers or Pierce. I'm going to be going with Jacoby Myers here. Hampton versus Vidal. I would go with Vidal, probably. Honestly, I think it's going to be a touch split. I don't love that. I've got Ricky Roma going, how do I pin? You don't pin, brother. I pin. That's how the chat works. I am the moderator. But if you want to get pinned up and get your questions answered quickly, you've got the best ways to do so. 1, follow along here on TikTok and make sure you are following the account. 2, go hop over to the YouTube page and drop a subscription on the Dynasty Price Check YouTube. We're also live over there. Your viewing experience is going to be a lot better. Or 3, go check out the T-Witch, the purple app. It's going to be the best place to find me. Rach is in the chat again for a moment here. Rachel, no worries. Just do your thing, babe. Have fun. Seriously, no rush at all. I am going to just rip here. As long as until you're ready, I do not have any rush, and I was going to do this anyway. So don't you worry. I've got Noah in the chat saying Adunze, Aaron Jones, or Woody Marks at the flex. I would be going with probably Aaron Jones here, but if he doesn't suit up and it looks like he's going to be hurt, then let's roll out Rome Adunze. I've got Jarin out here saying Tesla or Kennedy. I don't know who Kennedy is, so we're going to be going with Isaac Tesla. David says, I got Kittle on by and had Waller picked up Brenton Strange. Good move or not? That's totally fine. I mean, I'd play Brenton Strange probably here. I've got Enzo Poppy 20 saying Mason Taylor or Manungai for the flex. I would go with Kyle Manungai here, brother. Go with Kyle Manungai. I've got Rachel saying, guys, send him a follow or a gift so he can see your comments quicker. Thanks for the plug, Rach. That is a good girlfriend right there, guys. You've got David out here saying Andrews or Gadsden. I'm going to go with Mark Andrews personally. I've got Kay saying, what are we thinking about Amon-Ra's injury, sit or start? We're definitely sitting Amon-Ra this week, okay? We're sitting Amon-Ra this week. I don't think he's going to come back and play at a full level, and I don't know why you'd even risk him against Dallas's defense. I think Detroit has enough to get the job done. Ya boy Dame says, should I start in my flex Devonta Smith, K9, or Jacoby Myers? Here's what I'll say. I think I'd be leaning Kenneth Walker here, okay? I'll lean Kenny Walker. I've got Trayson Whitehouse out here saying, what do I think about Rashee Rice going against Houston? Mostly unfazed, man. Like I was talking about with the Chiefs, you are at the point in the season where the Chiefs have to do everything they can to make the playoffs. So I would absolutely be just rolling out Rashee Rice. He has been putting up the most fantasy points per game of any wide receiver since returning from his suspension. Maxwell says, Ertz or Loveland? I'm going to tell you to play Zach Ertz here, my friend. I'm going to tell you to play Zach Ertz, coming off a great performance. I've got Not Henry, 825, saying start 3, Nico, A.J. Brown, Marvin Harrison Jr., Zay Flowers, or Cortland Sutton. Out of those 3, we're going to be going Nico, we're going to go A.J. Brown, and I'm going to go Zay Flowers there. Zay Flowers, okay? I've got Waller, Gadsden, or Loveland rest of the season. I don't do rest of the seasons, guys. Every single week, things change. If I had to guess in the immediate, I would be playing Waller out of that group. We've got Angel in here saying Michael Wilson over London this week if he plays. If Drake London is not playing and Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, then I will be playing Michael Wilson, yes. Armando asking Lamar or Goff. Look, Goff is your safe option. Lamar is your upside option. If you're projected to win, let's roll Goff. If you're not, let's swing upside on Lamar. Shay is saying Debo or Tesla. If Amon-Ra gets ruled out, let's go Tesla. But if not, let's go Debo. Michael Cow, how are you doing, man? He says, who should I stash for the playoffs, Garrett Wilson or Mike Evans? Garrett Wilson. Vidal or Hampton, Myers or Brian Thomas Jr. I'd probably lean Vidal, even though it feels really dirty, and I'd say Jacoby Myers over there, okay? All right. David says pick 2, T. Higgins, Terry, Brian Thomas Jr., Pierce, DK. Give me T. Higgins and Scary Terry here, okay? Scary Terry. Proof-V, thank you so much for the follow. Greatly appreciate it. Guys, if you are watching over here on TikTok, please make sure you drop a follow or come check me out on YouTube or Twitch for an even better viewing experience. Speaking of over on the Twitch, I got Frost3564. Thank you so much for coming through, my friend. Hopefully can earn your follow today. First time chatter says start Ibuka, Pierce, Myers, Franklin, Manungai. We're starting 3 here. I am going to be going with Jacoby Myers. I'm going to be going with Kyle Manungai. And I'm going to barely lean Emeka Ibuka just because of what he did at the beginning of the season, praying he captures some of that lightning again, even though the last few weeks have been rough. Again, for you, that's going to be Ibuka, that's going to be Jacoby Myers, and that's going to be Manungai. Thank you so much for the follow, Frost. We are live for you every single day. And Frost, if you haven't already and you're looking for more start-sit help and trade center help, consider joining the free Discord. Just hop over to my website, dynastypricecheck.com, the exact username with a .com, and on the homepage, there's a nice button you can click that says Join Free Discord. That goes for everybody listening across platforms. If you are worried about getting your questions answered today in the chat and you want unlimited access to me, and you want the ability to watch the games along with me and my awesome community, we stream the games through the Discord, so you don't even have to pay for Sunday Ticket or whatever else you're doing out there. So come on through to the Discord. It is totally free, dynastypricecheck.com. We got to save some folks some money on their NFL subscriptions this year, so we are going to be playing the games watch party through the Discord with a great group of guys watching and doing fantasy commentary. It is a ton of fun, so come on through dynastypricecheck.com and join the Discord. We'd love to have you in there. We got Aiden Lee over in the TikTok chat saying Harvey, Pierce, Michael Wilson at the flex. I'm going to take RJ Harvey there out of that one. DGCU, thank you so much for following over on Twitch. Guys, if you were watching over on TikTok and you have not checked me out on the purple app or the red app, that is going to be a far better viewing experience and chat experience for you. So I would greatly appreciate your support over there. Alex, thank you for following over here on TikTok. I got Jaron saying Ertz or Colby Parkinson or Strange. I'm going to go with Ertz here, man, but Strange is a second option that I don't hate. JP says, bro, Hampton or Vidal? I did say Vidal. I don't love it. I don't love it at all. I do think it's going to be a tough split, and you have no idea what you're getting out of this week, so I would feel not super confident rolling any of them out. Aiden is asking Goff or Herbert. Now, this one, I'm going to tell you to roll out Jared Goff in a extremely favorable matchup against the Cowboys. Defense, Noah is asking, can I trust Hampton this week? The answer for me is no. I am not trusting Amari Hampton until I see how he comes back from the injury and what his workload is. I would imagine there would be a small ramp-up period for our boy here, and that is why I'm not telling you to roll out Amari Hampton right out of the gate. If it is one of your only options, then fine. Let's hope he gets a Bucky-type treatment and he finds the end zone even on limited touches, but I can't guarantee anything like that happening. I've got X Toast over on Twitch. Thank you so much for coming through and posting your first chat. Hopefully we can earn your follow out here. He says Hampton or Amika or Watson. Let me tell you this. I'm going to play Ibuka here simply based off the legacy of the first few weeks of the season and hope he recaptures that magic. But Christian Watson has been looking very consistent. He's got the boom potential. I would be very tempted to play Christian Watson. And in fact, the more I talk about it, the more I'm leaning towards playing Christian Watson this week. I've got Alex over here who dropped a follow on TikTok and is now looking for a question answered. He says, start Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to be playing Patty Mahomes this week. DGCU said, came over from TikTok, also dropped a subscription on YouTube. Man, could not be more appreciative of the support you guys are showing today, finding me across platforms. I appreciate you so much, man. The YouTube thing matters so much. Same over here on the Twitch. You're a legend, brother. Major shout out to you. Are you already in the Discord, DGCU? Would love to have you in there as well. Come through and watch a game with us, man. Would be great to talk some ball together. Seastead says, would you start Ferguson or Fannin at tight end? I would personally be starting Ferguson this week. Now, look, it is a tough matchup against the Detroit Lions on Thursday Night Football. I do think Dak is going to be airing the ball out nice and quickly here, and so I do think that you would be going with Seastead. Toast says, sorry if you answered my question. I did not hear you. I did answer your question, but we'll do it again, Toast. I appreciate you coming through over on the Twitch, man. Hopefully we can earn your follow out here. He said Hampton, Amika, Ibuka, or Watson. Now, I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, but the more I talked about it, the more I am leaning Christian Watson here. I do think Amari Hampton is going to be on a snap count on his return here and split touches with Vidal. Amika looked really good to start the season and has cooled off fantastically. Plus, Godwin's coming back into the mix. Evans is on the horizon. I think I just feel more comfortable with playing Christian Watson right now. He looks like the go-to guy for Jordan Love, and he's got such big boom upside. You know, he could get found downfield for a long ball any given moment. And quite frankly, man, I actually have been putting a prop down. I'm not a big parlay guy, but we got a guy in our Discord, MJ Walsh, who has been absolutely crushing the parlays and the tickets he's been putting out. But we've had Christian Watson on over a 20-yard reception every week for the last few weeks, and it has hit like clockwork. Just printing free money. Seastead says, another one for you, Jaden Higgins or Johnston. Easily Jaden Higgins. Easily by a mile. I've got Joe Benevento. Sorry, I was struggling with the pronunciation there, but I like it. Am I starting Stafford or Mahomes and Marks or Hampton? Here's what I'll say. I don't love starting Hampton, but I will tell you to do it because I think Marks is a little bit banged up here in a tough matchup. So I am going to go with Mahomes, and I'm going to go with Hampton here, okay? We've got Nate asking Javonte, Olave, Bucky, I need to. Let's go with Javonte and Olave then, my friend. We've got Goff or Love. I am going to be playing Goff against this Dallas Cowboys defense. I've got Frost over here asking Baker or Brissett. Give me Baker Mayfield. The reason I'm telling you to fade Jacoby Brissett this week, even though he's looked pretty solid, is simply because of that Rams defense and what they did to Seattle, and I do imagine them bouncing back a bit this week after a dropped game against Carolina and trying to make a statement. I've got Trin over here asking May is out. Start Rodgers or Tyrod. Give me Aaron Rodgers, but it feels dirty as hell. I've got B asking, do you like Alec Pierce and Christian Watson next year with potential big money coming their way? I do. I think both those guys are good dynasty stashes for the offseason, guys that absolutely are going to have positive narratives in the offseason and could see a nice value spike. I like the idea there, okay? Jared Goff or Joe Burrow. Give me Jared Goff ever so slightly just based off matchup. Devin Neal or Jordan Mason. I'm going to play Devin Neal. Joe is out here again saying, do I pick up Higgins and start him over Troy Franklin? If it's Jaden Higgins, then that is a yes, sir. We've got Hunt or Monungai. I am going to be playing Monungai here. I simply prefer his upside. I've got Christo 1000 asking a question. I'm going to pin it up. I'm going to hop back over to the T-Witch here. DGCU says, I was the one who asked about Tyrod earlier. Might pick up T-Law, but I feel like his rushing upside is a fantasy upside. Yes, I agree. I like going the T-Law route. Trevor Lawrence is quietly putting up a top 12 season for you here, and I do think that he is significantly underrated just for fantasy football purposes. He actually does provide you with decent options. Christo said Ertz or Andrews. Give me Ertz here. Jaron says Vele or Michael Wilson. Give me Michael Wilson. I've got a Wise Guy asking DeAndre Swift or Kenneth Walker. Give me Kenny Walker on that one. TikTok TC. What's up, man? Says trade Sutton and Marv for Bucky. That is a smash yes. We're going to go smash yes on that one. Guys, if you are watching over here on TikTok, make sure you check me out across platforms. Over on the Tube, same username, or on the T-Witch, the purple app, same username, Dynasty Price Check. If you are not already in the free Discord and you want a chance to tune in for all the watch parties, watch the games streamed through the Discord with your boy here, and get all your fantasy questions answered throughout the week by posting them instead of having to wait for just simply my live streams, go hop on over to my website, dynastypricecheck.com, and click the Join Free Discord button. Just the username you see here and then a .com. It is going to be the best way to find me. If you were lucky enough to tune in early enough today to catch us on San Diego Sports 760 Radio and see the behind the scenes from our home studio today, I hope you enjoyed a little look behind the Iron Curtain there. If you want a chance to catch our radio show each and every week, make sure you're in the Discord, because even if you're not local to San Diego, we've got the iHeartRadio app streaming there so that you guys can check it out and submit all your questions to get featured on the radio. I got Zakaria in here saying Bowers or Waller this week. You got to be playing Brock Bowers each and every week. He is a bona fide stud. I've got Vinny out here saying, do I start Tesla over Jay Jettis? I have Amon-Ra, but he's dead. Man, I do think Tesla is going to have a decent week here, but you got to be playing Jay Jettis. It's a little bit too risky to ride everything on Isaac Tesla. Okay, folks, we got questions coming through, doing the best we can to juggle all these chats. I got Frost saying, what about the Seahawks or Bucks Seahawks defense unequivocally here. I think you're going to watch the Seahawks defense feast on poor Kirk Cousins this week. I've got everything funny. 5-2 saying thoughts on Ross Dwelly. Irrelevant. More or less for me, irrelevant. H says, are we starting Jaden Daniels or Jacoby Brissett? Man, I hate both options. Let's go Jacoby Brissett. David says, Schultz or Loveland? Let's play Dalton Schultz this week. I've got Elijah out here asking Daniel Jones or Lamar or Daniels. Give me Daniel Jones if you're projected to win. Lamar if you need to swing upside. Okay? Frost, of course, my man. Appreciate you coming through as always and sticking around and hanging with the fellas. I've got David saying Schultz or Loveland. I told you to go Schultz here. Parker, thank you so much for the follow. Kellen says choose to. Michael Wilson, Adunze, Pierce, Adonai Mitchell. Give me Adunze and give me Pierce here. Fantasy Falkery says, what's up? Zay Flowers, Tesla, or Mechie? Let's go Zay Flowers here. Let's go Zay Flowers, okay? Guys, if you're watching over on TikTok, friendly reminder to drop a quick follow so I can pin some of your comments up as I juggle a chat across platforms here. It would be extremely appreciated and make my life a hell of a lot easier if I can pin all your comments up nice and easy. Matt understood the assignment, my man. And you going to get pinned up just because of it, my man. He says, start to Godwin, Addison, Ertz. We're going to go Godwin, and we're going to go Ertz. I'm fading that Minnesota defense. Vivek is out here, longtime follower. What's up, my man? He says, Goff or Lamar this week. Look, man, I hate to sit on the fence, but I got to be real with you. If you are projected to win this week, you are playing Jared Goff because he's got a great matchup against the Cowboys, and I think it's a safe play. If you are needing to swing absolute ultimate upside and go for like a 35-point performance, if you need that to win, then I will tell you to roll out Lamar and pray that he finds his rushing legs. I've got some folks over on the tube here saying, Super Smash Face, JD5, hate for fantasy is crazy in my opinion. He averaged almost 20 points for starts this year. Look, I get it. I thought that arm injury was extremely, extremely gruesome. I did not expect him to even be activated this quickly and be back. I am a bit nervous and hesitant about his ability to run in his current state, and I do think they're going to baby him to some degree. I don't really want to go directly all in on him on the first week here, not to mention the Commanders don't have a ton to play for. I don't know exactly why they're rushing him back so early, but that's just my opinion. It's not that I don't like Jaden Daniels from a normal standpoint, just in his current circumstances, I'm a bit holding hesitation, okay? Joe says, wait, why should I start Higgins over Franklin? Honestly, just because Jaden Higgins' prospect profile is great. You know, there's not a flurry of pass-catching options on this Houston team, and his involvement has looked really encouraging in the last few weeks, and he plays a different role to Nico Collins, which I think is definitely interesting. I've got Nico or Henry rest of the season. Tough for me to do rest of the seasons, guys. I'll slightly lean Derrick Henry for the floor, but, you know, I think it's about fair. Sam, what's up, man? He says Swift or Jalen Warren. I'm going to go Jalen Warren here. I mean, thing with Swift is just he's going to split touches to some degree. So at least Jalen Warren, I would hope, gets like the majority of the workload as compared to Kenny Gainwell, but he's also been getting sniped here and there. But I'm going to lean Warren slightly. I got Luca out here asking Pierce or Adonai at the flex. Give me Pierce there, okay? I've got Vinny in the chat. What's good, Vinny? He says, start to J. Jettis, Higgins, Tesla, Javonte Williams. Give me, start to J. Jettis, T. Higgins, Tesla, Javonte Williams. Give me Javonte Williams and give me Higgins here, okay? Zach Davenport, longtime follower, my guy, gets pinned up nice and quick here. He says, needing some help real quick with my matchup this week. Losing this week means I don't make the playoffs. Of course, Zach, if I haven't already told you to get in the Discord, my friend, make sure you're in there. I can help you all week long, and make sure we get you the W here. If you guys have not already joined the Discord, simply hop over to my website, which is my username with a .com on the end of it, dynastypricecheck.com, and click the join free Discord button. You get the chance to ask me questions all week, and you can even watch the game with me every week. We've got the games streaming on Sundays. We got the primetime games going. We got everything going, okay? I've got Abhi in here who dropped a follow earlier. Thank you for your support. Says, start Mahomes or DJ. We're going Mahomes here. We're going Mahomes, okay? Ben Carroll says, 8-man league. I got Dart and Daniels, Hurts. What do I do at QB? I'm going to play Dart here. Sammy boy, I do appreciate your support, my man, but if you spam my chat, I can't see any of the other questions, and we got to really try to do our best here to be respectful to everybody around. So, or you're going to get muted. I will get to everybody's questions as I answer them in order and try to be respectful to the people in the chat. You're saying Christian Watson or Jacoby Myers. Look, I think Jacoby Myers is the safe play. I think Christian Watson is your upside play. So if you are trailing in your projection and you need a 20-point performance, let's go ahead and roll Christian Watson out and hope he catches a deep pass. If you are projected to win, then I think a safe floor of about 12 to 14 points is coming from Jacoby Myers. Nathan James says Watson or Sutton. I'm going to go with Watson there for the upside. That Houston D-line is dirty. I don't disagree, but you also got to remember Patrick Mahomes is competing for a playoff spot in real life right now. The Chiefs are going to be wildly motivated to come out and absolutely get the win. Now, on the other side of the house, Jacksonville's defense is not something also to be taken lightly. They are actually one of the top 10 teams in DVOA this year. So, I do think that You got to be a little bit hesitant, obviously, going up against the Houston D-line, but regardless, I feel fine with the play, okay? Fuzzy says, given Chase Brown and Rome for Nico and Tracy, am I winning? I wouldn't do this deal personally, Fuzzy, because Chase Brown has one of the best playoff schedules of any fantasy football player. And let's take a look. If you are looking to make the playoffs here, Week 15, you get Baltimore. Week 16, you get Miami. In Week 17, you get the Arizona Cardinals. I try to be forward-thinking in this department, and I think Chase Brown is a potential league winner in the running back department simply based off his schedule. I've got Nate over here asking Terry, Shakir, or Dobbs. It's going to be scary. Terry. Fred here is asking Kareem Hunt or Aaron Jones. Look, if Aaron Jones is playing, we're going to roll him out. If he is not, then I think you are stuck with Kareem Hunt. Let's monitor the injuries. Lick Flair, what's up? He says, Ibuka, Myers, or Watson this week. I am going to be going again with Jacoby Myers for the safe play, Watson for the ultimate upside play. I've got Aiden over here asking a question as well. We've got Aiden who dropped a follow. I greatly appreciate it. Guys, if you're not already following here on TikTok, if you drop a quick follow, your question will get pinned up and answered nice and quick. He says, start Shakir or Jordan Addison in the flex. I'm 3-10. If I don't win, I lose the league. I mean, I think you're already out, but I would go Shakir. I can't trust anybody on that Minnesota offense right now. What team has the hardest record? Well, there's a ton of teams that have tough playoff schedules. I don't know if I can give you the absolute hardest of them all, but the ones that I will say have the easiest, which I pay the most attention to, are you are looking at a comfortable playoff schedule for Bengals players, and you're looking at a really comfortable schedule for Saints players. Let's look at the New Orleans Saints, for example, here. You've got on the New Orleans Saints side of the house, if I can find Chris Olave here, you get Carolina, you get the New York Jets, and you get the Tennessee Titans in the fantasy playoffs. That is pretty damn good. You can't be asking for too much more there. Why, Brian, thank you for the follow. We'll pin your comment up nice and easy here. He says Monungai or Judkins. I'm going to go with Judkins here. Sean, thank you for the follow, man. He says T. Higgins or Pittman. I think I'm going to roll out Michael Pittman this week, but honestly, I don't hate either option. I would suggest you flex both of them. Your local Mexican, thank you for the follow. He says Andrews or Goddard. I would be going Mark Andrews here. I've got Drew saying, what are we doing with Vidal and Hampton, or do we just start Neal? Oh, brutal. I hate the option is Devin Neal. I would probably lean Vidal if I had to do anything here, even though it doesn't feel good. But, I think I'd lean Vidal, but Neal might be the play, man. I just feel like regardless of what you do, you're just flipping a coin and it's just going to burn you. I'm so sorry. I've got Zach saying, I just joined the Discord. What is good, my man? Thank you so much for coming through and joining. Guys, if you are one of the 65 here on TikTok listening right now, or if you are listening over on YouTube or Twitch, make sure you join the Discord. Go over to my website, dynastypricecheck.com, and join the Discord. It is totally free. There's a big button on the homepage, nice and easy. If you get on in there, we got watch parties going with all the games. If you're looking for extra access to me for monthly strategy sessions, break down your team, give you all the trade things I'll be doing in Dynasty, if you're a Dynasty player, make sure you subscribe to my Patreon, and you'll get extra access to locked Discord channels where you get even more access to me. Can't even wait to chop it up with you guys this weekend and watch some awesome games. Owen Old drops the follow and says, start Gadsden or Strange. I'm going to go with Strange. Hey, my boy, David Cueto is in the chat. What is up, my friend? He says Kincaid, Andrews, or Schultz. Here's what I'm going to say. I would be playing Dalton Kincaid if he's healthy, as he looks like the top pass-catching option for Josh Allen with no alpha in the building. Outside of that, I would be probably flexing Dalton Schultz this week, as Dalton Schultz has a friendly matchup and is quietly putting up a tight and 9 finish. Drew, thank you so much for hopping in here, man, and dropping the follow. I greatly appreciate you. Drew, if you're looking for more support from me, man, hop on in that Discord. It is totally easy to join. DynastyPriceCheck.com, my username with the .com, and then click to join free Discord, guys. We will be playing all the games, including tomorrow night's game for our Thursday night watch party. So if you are like, I don't have Prime, I don't have the streaming service, I want to watch it with some great guys and talk some ball, all. Well, boy, do I got the fix for you. Just hop on over to the Discord, and it is all available in there. We're going to watch the game together. Dave Cueta says, sounds like a plan to me. Yes, it does. Davey Dave, we got to get you in the Discord for tomorrow night's watch party so we can make some live trades in our Dynasty Listener Leagues. We've got a lot of folks that want to talk to Dave Cueto, and who wouldn't, man? He is a legend. He has been a part of our leagues for years and is a great, close, and personal friend. Would love to see Dave out here. Dave, I know you joined a little late. I wish you could have come behind the scenes on Sports 760 radio today for the radio show, but next week you got to hop right here and check out the setup, see how we're ripping. I've got Joseph saying, hello, sir. I'm trading away Sutton and Chase Brown for Puka. Is that a good trade? That is a good trade. I will take the Puka Nacua side, but I will caution you, Chase Brown has a fantastic playoff schedule, so if you are looking to ramp up for the playoffs, he might be a piece you're trying to hold. But again, if the deal's on the table, I'd take it. Your local Mexican saying Trevor Lawrence or Mariota. I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence this week. Abhi is asking, am I starting Shakir Franklin or Michael Wilson? I would be potentially going with Shakir here, and then Franklin would be your 2. Do I go Joe Burrow or Goff? I would go Goff simply on the matchup here. Wow, guys. We are getting an announcement here 1 minute ago. Tight end Mark Andrews has agreed to terms on a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the real impact of this for me is that Isaiah Likely is officially probably more of a dead asset than you want to admit. Now, if Isaiah Likely is able to leave in free agency here, then I do think you're going to see a massive value spike. But great contract insulation here for Mark Andrews. If you are a dynasty owner of Mark Andrews, just like my man David Cueto is here, probably celebrating over there, that is a nice value spike, and I think it locks him up here as, a top 10 tight end for the next 2 seasons. So I think you got to be pretty happy about that one, and you love it. So there you go. Mark Andrews, groundbreaking deal here, and that is some crazy news that I did not see coming. Okay, and that is crazy, guys. That is crazy. I did not see that coming. Okay. All right, folks, here we go. Back to the chat. Want to make sure I'm getting to everybody here. Massive announcement on the Mark Andrews side. Isaiah Likely absolutely going to be taking a hit here in the immediate. I do wonder, does anyone have the info on his contract? Can we look up Isaiah Likely's contract? Is he have a chance to get out of Baltimore this year, or are they going to hold him in limbo one more year? Let's see. We got some question here. Okay, thank God. Isaiah Likely is an unrestricted free agent in the offseason, which means Isaiah Likely has officially climbed up to one of my biggest buys in Dynasty right now, especially if you play in a tight end premium league. I'm just going to throw it out there for my early listeners here. If you are a Dynasty player, before this hits my Market Movers channel on the Discord, before I make a video about it this afternoon, I would absolutely and utterly be sending offers for Isaiah Likely. Okay, he's going to get a deal somewhere and his value will spike. ISO Polo, thank you so much for coming through on the T-Witch. He says, would you rather have Mark Andrews or Dalton Schultz rest of the season? I'd probably slightly lean Mark Andrews, but it would be a close one. Derek is asking, what happened with Mark? What happened with Mark is that Mark Andrews just signed a 3-year, $39 million extension with the Baltimore Ravens. And guys, keep in mind the contract details that are getting released right now is that the franchise's all-time receiving leader includes a $26 million guarantee in this deal. So that shows you that they are locking him up, and I would imagine with $26 million of the $39 being fully guaranteed that he is going to be unable to be cut for the first 2 off seasons, meaning I do believe at this point you have locked Mark Andrews up as a relevant tight end 1 until 2027 at the comfortable, baseline. Okay, so all that being considered, let us be let's be aware here of what we got going on. Okay, of what we got going on. All right, guys, we're going to go about 10 more minutes here, and then we're going to take a quick break. We've been live for 2 hours here, and we brought you behind-the-scenes coverage today of our radio show on San Diego Sports 760. It was a blast. Thank you so much for coming along. If you're watching here on TikTok, please make sure you drop a quick follow as I rip a few more of these questions. And if you have not checked me out across platforms over on Twitch or YouTube, please go over there, drop a follow, drop a subscription. We would be so happy to have you guys as a part of the Price Check Army out here. I've got PS2 asking Strange or Juwan. I'll go Strange. Aiden is saying Tesla or Mechie. Let's go Tesla. Hawks, go Hawks, is saying Pierce or Shakir. Let's go Alec Pierce as our upside play. If Amon-Ra's out, Tesla. If not Mechie, yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Shakir is going to be your safe play. Pierce is going to be your upside play. Luke Patterson says, I have CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson. No, you're playing Dak. You get the stack, bro. Got to get the stack. Okay, Rage Rod, Jacoby Myers or Jalen Warren for the flex, full point PPR. Give me Jalen Warren here, okay? Goff or Stafford, give me Jared Goff on a fantastic matchup against the Cowboys defense this week. I've got Wilson or Watson. We're going to be going Christian Watson over here. Okay? Okay. All right. Thank you for the follow here. I've got Cole asking Wilson or Watson. We're going Watson, Judkins, RJ Harvey, Hampton, or Tyler Warren. Give me Tyler Warren and Judkins here. Judah says Vele, AD, Mitchell, or Addison. Give me Mitchell. I've got Miguel saying Pittman or T. Higgins this week. I think I'm still going to go Pittman slightly, but I think you should play both of them. Cowboys running back or Saquon. What are we asking about? Javonte Williams? Give me Javonte Williams. Castle says, what week are the fantasy playoffs usually? They are normally week 15 would be week 1. So not this week, but next week. Okay. Monty says, will Javonte Williams go off tomorrow? I'm considering benching him. I wouldn't bench him. I'd play him. Okay. I'd play him. Okay. Start Tesla if you need to. I would. If you need to, I would, because I think Amon-Ra is going to miss the week, and then you're going to have some runway here. Monty, I would be playing Javonte Williams, brother. If you were one of the 50 in the chat right now, please go ahead and drop a quick follow, and I'll pin some of these comments up. I got Lucas out here asking TJ Hawkinson, P. Ryan, Hurts, Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce, Pittman. Give me Daniel Jones, and give me Michael Pittman. Let's go Tyrod, Lawrence, Mariota. Give me Lawrence here. Lawrence. Let's go Kyle saying, so this week doesn't matter. Not technically. Not technically. I mean, if you've already secured your playoff run, then you're good, Kyle. Lucas, thank you for the follow. Judah says, awful bye week. Gainwell or Ty Johnson or Tucker. Probably going to go, is this Sean Tucker or Trey Tucker? If it's Trey Tucker, give me Trey Tucker. If not, then go Gainwell and hope he gets you a touchdown, okay? Would you do Woody Marks in a 27-second for Justin Jefferson? Fuck off, Nick, dude. You're such a troll, man. Keegs says Mariota or Brissett. Give me Mariota. God, Nick's trying to make me laugh out here, and it's working. BOA Trading. What's up, man? He says Brissett or Tyrod Taylor. Oof, this is tough, man. I would personally be going with Brissett just because I do not trust the Jets to put up multiple good weeks in a row, although Tyrod looked okay last week. Brissett obviously has a tough outlook, though, against the Rams defense, which absolutely tore up the Seahawks. So I think that's the toughest part of the equation, right? So, and you know what? BOA Trading, I'm just going to give you a follow, man. Right on. You'll love to see it. I like to see other folks out here that are running their own gig, hopping in the chat. So shout out to you, man. Good for you guys. We've got Diego saying Daniel Jones or Brissett or Burrow. Give me, here's what I'll say. I think I'm going to go Joe Burrow here. You know, he looked pretty good in his first week back, and I think he's still got upside for the future here. Diego, let's roll there. BOA Trading, thanks for the follow, man. I hit you back. Let's collab someday, huh? I don't know how trading and football can get intertwined, but let's do it, you know? I day trade a lot, but I'm not very good at it. You're probably a lot better than me. I tried leverage trading for a little while, thinking I was smart. I was not that smart. Fun fact. Okay, Nick says, pick one, Tesla, DK, or Adonai. Out of this group, I'm going to go DK. I know it's not the sexy option, but we're going to do it. You know, he still has a lot of red zone upside with Rodgers there. Michael says Saquon or Devontae at the flex. It's Devontae Adams at this point for sure. He's a touchdown magnet. We've got Eth Wong says, how do I value Scary Terry and Sean Tucker in Dynasty? Well, I really like Scary Terry. I mean, I still think he signed the extension this offseason. He's got to be worth at least 2 early seconds, I would say. I don't know if I'm paying a first for him at this current moment, but I think that's fair. Zach Braun, thank you for the follow, man. He says 2 QB league, Darnold, Sanders, Tyrod. Give me Darnold for sure, and then let's roll out Tyrod just for the upside, even though it doesn't feel great. Guys, that, unfortunately, is going to be it for me today. We took you behind the scenes on San Diego Sports 760 Radio earlier today. If you were there for the 1:30 show, I really appreciate you coming behind the scenes and watching it from the home studio today instead of in the normal radio station. Wanted to give you guys a little behind the scenes look here. We've got some awesome news coming out today as well. Glad to be live during the Mark Andrews extension here. 3 years, $39 million for the Ravens. A lot of implications there. If you're a Dynasty fantasy football player, I would say start sending those offers for Isaiah Likely, as he's set to be an unrestricted free agent this offseason, and now has all the upside in the world to go sign somewhere else. BOA Trading is asking, am I picking 2? Gainwell, Swift, Mason, Neal. Let's go with Swift for sure. I think your other option is very up in the air. If Jones doesn't play, let's go Mason. If he does play, I think I'm going to slightly lean Devin Neal here. Guys, that is going to be it. We were live for 2 full hours today on top of the radio show. I am going to take a little break here and get a few things done. I will be back on live streaming later tonight. You know how we do, twice a day, every day. I will see you DPC after dark. Thank you so much for the support and calling into the radio show. For those of you that did today, it was awesome talking to you on the air and answering some of your questions. If you haven't already joined the free Discord, go ahead and do so. It is pinned on my profile, dynastypricecheck.com. Just the username with a .com on there, and then you are good to go. Click on that Discord. We can watch games together. I can help you all week in case I didn't get to your questions during this stream. If you have not checked me out across platforms over on YouTube or Twitch, I would greatly appreciate you guys coming through and showing your support there, especially on the YouTube. We are posting a ton of long-form videos over there as it relates to the Dynasty Fantasy Football world, getting you prepared for a killer offseason we got ahead. So I'm really trying to grow that channel over there and give you guys more long form. So hop over to the YouTube, drop a quick subscribe if you can. Dynasty Price Check, same username is here, and interact with those long form videos. I got the Dynasty rankings coming out every single day, position by position. We've got trade shows. We've got roster reviews being posted live each and every day for you guys. Thanks so much for the continued support. I am going to take a quick break and rest the voice for a second, but y'all have been fantastic, and I hope you enjoyed a behind-the-scenes look here of San Diego Sports 760 Radio and on the iHeartRadio app. Cheers, guys, and have a lovely afternoon. I will see you in the evening.